I'm just letting you guys soak the beauty of these two rifles in. Hey guys, it's Glockster 42. Now what you're looking at here, I firmly believe is the best value, the best buy in the firearms market in Canada today. What you're looking at here, guys, are the Chinese copies of the fantastic American M1A, the M14. We've got two different manufacturers here. Both basically the same plant. Apparently different marketing schemes. The first one here, rocking the Duracoat, flat dark earth and olive drab, is my vintage Norinco M305. Purchased this firearm back in 1997. It's gone through a lot of rounds. Now currently it's wearing a US GI stock. The only thing that we've done on this rifle is it's got a trigger job, and that's it. No batting or nothing on this one. This one is my newer Polytech M305, rocking the Duracoat NATO pattern. Now guys, if you've never owned one of these, you live in Canada, you have firearms, why the hell don't you have one or two? $469 Canadian for your base rifle with open sights. You can't beat that. A comparable Springfield Armory, you're looking at $1,800. So you can buy 3 of these for one Springfield. Glockster, it's Chinese. Come on, man. It's an American gun versus a Chinese gun. Wait a minute. The Springfield is made up from various outsourced parts. I believe the receiver is investment cast in Quebec. Other parts come all over from, everywhere on the Springfield. If you want to spend $1,800, hey, great, knock yourself out. I won't be one to say bad things about you. Oh, Glockster, dude, there's no way I can't buy a Chinese rifle. Well, why not? Well, it's Chinese, man. Lots of stuff's Chinese. Big deal. If you tell me that, oh, dude, I cannot buy one of these because I can't support a Marxist slave state. I get that. You know what? Yeah, you're right. I can't disagree with you there. But if you want to say politics be damned for a little while, I need a good shooting iron. Look at the M305. Now I'm no expert on the M305s, but I understand that these receivers are actually a forged receiver. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my understanding is that the Norinco and the Polytechs are forged receivers. When these first came out in the early 90s, they were having a lot of problems with soft bolts and bolt stretching and case head separations. I've never had a problem. Between these two rifles, probably 800 to 1,000 rounds on this one in various configurations, and probably about 500 rounds in this one in various configurations. Now, one of the knocks about these the M14 series is the difficulty in mounting a scope and then getting a good cheek weld when you do mount a scope. Now, right here, this mounting system right here is the Made in Canada CASM scope mount. You can find this online at m14.ca. I believe it's about $169. It's worth every single penny. It's a hardened aluminum 1913 Picatinny rail. Let me repeat that. It's a 1913 Picatinny rail. Weaver rings will not fit. You must have Picatinny rings to fit on this base. It's simple to mount. The only downside is you do completely lose your rear sight. But even with the side mounted ones, you generally can't use your rear sight anyway. So that is a downside. But if you're going to go for a scope mounting system, this is definitely the way to go, guys. Get yourself one of the m14.ca scope mounts. Now when you do scope it up, your face is going to be blowing in the wind. So the next thing you're going to need to invest in is a TAC Pro cheek riser. I think they're about $40. I bought this one at Fab Sports. Drill a couple holes through them. Check out my other videos on building these rifles. In fact, I was building this NATO one. Check that out. It'll cover all the specs for it, how you do it. These things shoot. Out of the box from the factory, we're looking at about a 6-pound 2-stage trigger pull. I like 2-stage trigger pulls. I grew up with an old military Mauser with a 2-stage trigger pull. That's how I learned to shoot. I like 2-stage trigger pulls. So with this, the take-up is light. Take-up is light, and then bang, you hit a wall. This one breaks at about 6 pounds. This one breaks at about 4.5 pounds. The Polytech, the trigger worked up a little bit better on it. Send it out and have a good professional trigger job done on it. It's worth it. Now, just like any M14 system, safety's inside the trigger guard. That has its pros and its cons. You just basically, you pop it in, pop your finger in, it's good to go. Your magazine release, standard right here. It's a rock-in style. The front goes in. Click. There we are. There's your magazine. Push it ahead, rock it out. There's your mag. This one's been Duracoated as well in olive drab. The Chinese mags are just fantastic. I've got about 15 of them. I've never had a single problem. I did this one here. I just purchased here a couple weeks ago. It would not feed worth a damn. Now, of course, in Canada, our normal capacity mags are neutered to 5 rounds. The way the Chinese do it, there is a sheet metal plate that comes in there on the bottom of your follower that stops you from being able to put any more than 5 rounds in it. Now, on this one, it was bent. It was bent like this, and it was pushing along here as it was engaging, and it was binding. So I basically had to they're welding these suckers up now, so I had to cut the welds off, clean it up, pull that sheet metal piece out, bend it straight so that it's going straight up and down, right up and down the middle. Now this mag works fantastic. It's the only mag I've ever had a problem with the Chinese mags. Chinese mags are spectacular. Don't worry about the Chinese mags. You don't need US GI mags. In fact, there's a lot of guys that do spend a lot of money on these things. For my way of thinking, you don't need to. Oh, Glockster, the bolts are soft. Okay, maybe the early ones were, but I've never had a single problem. The only problem I had, one case head separation on an old piece of Dominion brass that had probably got through in about its 6th reloading, 2 more than I normally reload for. Usually at 4, I'm pitching the brass. I mark them. So, you know what? M14 systems are really tough on brass. You cannot reload them more than 4 times and you're starting to push your luck. But you know what? The case fell right out. There's no problem. I've put some really hard use, lots of round counts, high round counts through a day. Yesterday I put probably 250 rounds through this, I call this my NATO M14 just because of the paint job. I put about probably 400 rounds through it. And you know what? Not a single problem. They were off the bench. They were offhand. They were prone. This thing shot like an absolute trooper. Now this particular gun is, it's got the M14 CASM base on it. I'm using medium Brownells tactical rings. Brownells will ship these rings to Canada. These are the aluminum version, $69.95. And we've got the Vortex Crossfire 4-12 with the BDC reticle on it. Great scope. Crystal clear, super bright, high value scope. $189 online for that scope. Excellent, excellent scope. You can spend a lot more money, as you know, on optics. But you know what? I'm thinking, why would I put a $1,500 optic on a $400 rifle? To me, that just doesn't make sense. So this particular gun, I had batted it and trigger job on it, and it still just wasn't shooting quite as good as I thought it should. A buddy of mine says, you know what, let me look at it. So he tinkled with the trigger, he messed around with the trigger a bit. Trigger now is an exact 4 pounds, super crisp. It's like a glass rod breaking in your hand. He said he unitized the gas system for me. I'm not sure what he did, but this gun is probably, the groups have gone down by half since he worked on it. I also attribute to this base, rings, and new scope system on it, of the accuracy. Now I know that this gun, this new Polytech, is going to be a lot more accurate than this old Norinco. But damn, I love the looks of this Norinco. It's just, the coloring just does it for me. This Norinco, they're both rocking the cheek risers. You got to have the cheek risers. Now, on this particular one, I added a limb saver recoil pad that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I had a hard time getting it formed to this, but it's not using the USGI butt like my Polytech is, as you can see. Now the big thing with this one, I added traction tape on the back of here, because after I Duracoated, I found that it was really slippery, and I had a hell of a time getting it to a good weld. It would slip on me, so I put the grip tape on there, and that worked really well. Okay, just a quick note, guys. If you're looking for grip tape in Canada, Home Depot doesn't carry it. Go figure. What the hell do they carry? Canadian Tire didn't have any. Walmart didn't have any. I found this stuff at good old Lowe's, my favorite store. The grip tape at Lowe's is excellent. This stuff probably could use a little bit of a gluing on. It's coming off. So I've got the grip tape for traction on the wrist and up here in the front, sides and bottom. It works like a damn, especially if you're wearing gloves. You pretty much need to wear gloves because this is pretty aggressive. It'll scratch your hands up pretty damn good. So you need that. The traction on the USGI stock, not so good. Now I'm going to move out this this bottom one here, and I want to show you what the old original wood stocks are on the that came with this Norinco. Well, there's the original chew wood stock that the Norinco came with. You can see we're back in must have been about 2003. Yeah, probably 2003, 2004. I bedded this rifle when I guess it would be 2003, when I was working in a gun shop. I bedded this rifle. This wood is soft as Halifax. I mean, when you can take a rifle stock and make a heavy dent in it with your thumbnail, oh, it's light. I mean, I don't even think that's a pound. It doesn't take stain. It has a waxy feel to it. It's basically, I want to say, a high-end balsa wood. The chew wood, no, not a good selection, guys. The new Polytechs now, this is Polytech's own plastic stock. You can see that it's much thinner than the USGI stock is around the magazine well. It's a much lighter stock than the USGI fiberglass stock. You can just see the difference here, guys. See the thickness difference there between the two? This one tapers in a lot more. It's a lot thinner through the wrist, and the Polytech is a lot thinner around here as compared to the USGI stock. Now this USGI stock, when I got it, it had all the cutouts, all the magazine cutouts and all the rest of that stuff, and had the cutout for the conventional USGI pad. So I filled all that in with epoxy putty, cleaned it all up. It turned out actually pretty damn good, because that was cut. That selector switch was cut right out there at the bottom. But you know what? I like the Polytech stock. If you can find a Polytech injected plastic stock and throw it on your Norinco with the chew wood, that's definitely going to make a big upgrade. Bed it, unitize it. My friend drilled out the flash suppressor on this NATO version, so I guess you'd call it a national match flash suppressor. It's much larger. There's no chance of the bullet splashing the side. Just a quick word about flash suppressors on these. They followed the standard M14 flash suppressor, but unfortunately what the Chinese did is they used a metric thread on this flash suppressor. So USGI flash suppressors or standard Imperial size cuts will not work on this. At least they wouldn't work on these two rifles. You know, yours may be different, but from what I've seen, these are all, the threads are a metric thread, so that's where you run into problems trying to use USGI parts on these particular rifles. Pretty much everything else will fit. The bolts generally will drop right in. The USGI stock popped right in without any problems. You know, it fits fairly snug. You know, it's open where it should be and it's snug where it should be. I haven't fired this rifle, but I can say this gun shoots a lot better than I thought it would. Oh, Glocks. No, these things are 3-4 inch MOA at 100 yards. There's no way guys have told me, it's like, they're crap. These guns won't shoot. They won't shoot a damn thing. You know, 4, 5, 6 inch groups at 100 yards. Nope. Let me grab some targets, guys. Alright, first target I'm going to show you is at 100 yards with Sierra Match King hand loads with IMAR 4895. There's the first group right there. 100 meters, scope set to 12, .910. Second group with the Vortex crossfire scope, 1.14. Third group, 1.45. Now, keep in mind that I wasn't shooting for accuracy. I was just trying to get it centered on target. Alright, next a little more serious group is right there. 0.745 inches. Right there. Sierra Match Kings, hand loads. Then it opened up a bit, 2.215. Barrel started getting pretty warm. I was shooting these things, it was getting cold out. And so the third, fourth, fifth group, sixth group in that string was 1.376. 100 meters. That's not bad. But you know what? It gets better. It gets a lot better, in fact. In fact, it gets a lot better with ammo that I would have never thought it would have gotten good with. Alright, now this is a mixed target here. Over on the left-hand side, we have the Sierra Match Kings again, 1.15 inches. Sierra Match King, 100 meters, 1.12 inches. Now we're going to roll over to 155 grain AMAX bullets. Look at that, right there. Right there, that's 2 holes. That's 2 bullets right there, 2 shots. But the third shot, unfortunately, opened up to 1.75 inches. The next one down here is 1.285 inches. So Sierra Match Kings, I think we've got some potential with these 155 grain AMAX. I didn't have a lot of them left. That's 2 shots. That's pretty amazing. And here's another Sierra Match King at 1.085 inches. Yeah, those are pretty good Glockster. Yeah, you know what? For a battle rifle that's had some tweaking, that's still done up, coming under $1,000. Woo. I can live with that. Alright, now here's some hand loads. These were all assembled on my Dillon RL 350 press. 150 grain Hornady full metal jacket. 1.385 inches. 0.765 inches. There's another right there. Another 2-hole, 2-shot, 1-hole group. Here's one here. 0.705 inches. Another one down here, 1.135 inches with 150 grain Hornady full metal jacket with mixed brass. That's pretty good. I can live with that. Now we're getting into the even better stuff. This one, I'm definitely going to have to get some more of this because it's available. The really amazingly good in this rifle, American Eagle 308 Winchester 150 grain full metal jacket boat tail bullets. I picked up 240 rounds for 180 bucks. Up here, that's an unheard of price. Oh yeah, Glockster, come on, it's a solid big D. Yeah, okay, here we go. Factory ammo, 1.376 inches, 100 meters. 1.252 inches at 100 meters. 1.150. And check this one out. 3-shot cloverleaf, 0.358. I haven't been shooting for a while. I haven't shot a rifle in seriously in probably 3 months. So gentlemen, firearms use and accuracy is a skill with a shelf life. If you are not practicing, if you are not getting out there and shooting, your shooting skills will diminish. But I'm going to show you the best accuracy of the day. And it came from a most unexpected source. I have to say it was a most unexpected source. And here we have the previously ripped to shreds by me Israeli TZ Lot 1280 7.62 ball. In this particular rifle, it's 4-inch MOA at the best. I'm not sure what happened yesterday. The planets aligned. I'm not sure if it's 2012 coming into play. The weirdness is happening. First group, 1.23 inches. Israeli bulk. That's 2 shots right there. That's 2 shots, guys. 0.869 of an inch. 3 shots. 100 meters. 0.575 inches. Third group, 100 meters. And the fourth group, 0.745 inches at 100 meters with this rifle right here, with this scope set on 12. I have witnesses. A friend of mine was out there. I have video footage which I'll roll in of shooting. But guys, the average 3-shot group with this Israeli bulk is 0.854 inches. So, a $469 for a basic rifle. Let's do some math. Math was never my strong point in school. But what the hey. Alright, so let's say 470 for the rifle. We've got 45 for the cheek riser. We've got 170 for the 171 for the base. We've got 70 for the rings. We've got 190 for the scope. So we're at $946. So with taxes and all the good stuff, we're at $1,000. I betted it myself. It cost me $35 for a betting for a trigger job. So you're looking at $1,035. So at $1,035, this rifle will get 1-inch groups at 100 meters. A 308 main battle rifle. You could go out and pay $1,800 for that M1A by Springfield, and you still have to put base on it, rings, and a scope, and a trigger job, and probably a cheek riser. So your basic rifle is starting at almost $900 more than this fully tricked out Chinese M305. So guys, if you're thinking about buying one of these and you're hemming and hawing, oh, it's not accurate. Yeah, it is. You know, it's Chinese. Big deal. Suck it up. You know, if you're going to say no because of the social economic reason, all right, I'll respect that. But just remember, jobs in China equals a middle class, which equals middle class people have money. Middle class people are going to start demanding their freedom. You know, in a, you know, you could almost say in a real roundabout way, we could be, you know, helping freedom and liberty in China by buying some of their products. Yeah, okay, it's a stretch, but whatever. Whatever, guys. Don't be afraid of the Chinese M305. I've seen one of these blow up. It blew up on me. A buddy of mine that I haven't seen in years and years. I was over at his place. I knew he drank. I didn't realize how much he drank. He reloaded. I got him to hand loading. And so I was out shooting his M305. It had the wooden stock. And we went through the first 3 rounds, and the 4th round went ka-fucking Boom. I really wish I'd have gotten pictures of it. This would have been about 98. Blew the barrel right off. Totally blew up the fiberglass fore end. Shredded the bottom of the stock. The barrel must have flew out 50 or 60 feet. The bolt ripped open. I had one hell of a fight right on this hand here. I had a massive welt, handful of splinters, lost a few chunks of skin, and my ears were ringing, and that was all that happened to me. Thank God. And you know, first we thought, oh geez, it's got to be a barrel obstruction. Must be a barrel obstruction. Well, no, it's not a barrel obstruction. What the hell? So it was hard to tell whether it was a barrel obstruction because it was peeled, and you know, it was just like, basically it looked like something Wile E. Coyote would do when he blew up a rifle. It looked that bad. I was pretty shaken. I didn't shoot for almost a year after that. I was pretty shook up. But we tracked it down to the fact that the night before, my dear buddy had broken out he was boozing while he was reloading, and on his progressive machine he had been loading pistol ammunition with, I believe it was Bullseye. And he didn't dump the Bullseye out of the powder hopper, but he topped it up with IMAR powder. I think it was 4895 or maybe even BLC2. No, it's 4895 because it was a stick, because we went and looked. I remember that. It was a stick propellant, so it must have been an IMAR propellant. And half the hopper was filled with Bullseye, and the other half of the hopper was filled with IMAR 4895. So he dumped in about 42 grains of Bullseye, seated the bullet, and went along. And I damn near lost my hand because of his stupidity. So, moral of the story is, don't be afraid of Chinese firearms, but be very afraid of people who booze while they're reloading. So, do I love these rifles? You damn rights I love these rifles. These are my go-to rifles. If the shit hit the fan tomorrow, if there are zombies, well, maybe not zombies, but if the rule of law completely disintegrated, this would be my #1 go-to rifle. Jeez, dude, it's heavy. Oh yeah, it's heavy. Oh yeah, it's heavy. Compared to the rifle that I'm testing now, it's really effing heavy. 20 rounds of 308, that's heavy. But you know what? 400, 500, 600 yards, you can keep the threats a long ways away. At 350, you've seen me shooting this gun this summer at 375 yards, doing basically headshots. That was with the old scope and the old optics and the old bedding and the old trigger group. And I was getting headshots at 375 once I had doped out the elevation. So basically what I'm getting at, guys, is you got to give up a little bit. If you think you're only going to need to engage at under 75 or 100 yards, yeah, okay, go with your carbine. But for me, if the bad guys are way out there, I want to keep them way out there, and this will keep them way out there. You have absolutely nothing in North America that this rifle will not take. Bad guys, blue helmets, Sam Squatches, or grizzly bears. A 308 will do it all for you. This rifle, I think, might be the best all-round rifle you could possibly buy. It's heavy, so yeah, you know what? You better get your wheatgrass going and your veggies and your protein shakes and start losing some poundage like I'm doing. But that's going to be another video. But guys, you gotta, if you're going to own one of these, and I really suggest you do, you practice with it. You get out and shoot it. You work on it. You bed it. You put good optics and a good base and good rings on it, and it'll do anything you ever want a rifle to do. I'm serious. This is probably one of my favorite. This may be my very favorite rifle system ever. Right here, you're looking at the M14, the Chinese M14s. There's nothing wrong with them, guys. Go get them. Get off your asses. Get off the couch. Turn your computer off. Stop watching YouTube and playing video games, and go shoot.